I'm Cami with Prince of Peace Digital on Etsy, and I had a couple of my customers reach out for this particular project and ask if there was a video tutorial for how to assemble it, and there wasn't. Now there's gonna be. Now there's a video. This is what I'm calling the Give It to God Fussy Cut Scene Builder Christian Junk Journal set. This is kind of how it looks if you put everything together. So I'll do a little show and tell at the end. This was kind of my test print to make sure that it works. You can see I printed it on the back of another test print. So this was what I put together first, just to make sure that everything fit. So since I had some people asking for it, I reprinted just the pockets because that's the confusing part. So here are the pockets, and that I've already cut out. I have not inked them yet. I will show you that part as well. So here's my background. And I've already cut out, because your printer is not going to print all the way to the edges. Even when you print a full page like this, you're still going to have a little bit of a white border. So I've already cut that off as well. And I like to say that for these projects, to print all of it as fit to page with your printer so that all of your pieces are the right size. They stay in proportion to each other. I hope that makes sense. Like if you print this fit to page, so that your printer shrinks it a little bit, but then you print all of these pieces as actual size, they will be a little bit bigger, and I think they would still work, but I don't know for sure. So the first thing I'm gonna do with this page, and my little scoreboard is just barely big enough for this, is I'm gonna, if you don't have one of these, I did not have one of these until recently. It is very nice to have. It makes folding much easier. So I'm just gonna pick a spot and try to line it up in the middle. Actually, I'm gonna kind of, oh, that's a good note. For some reason, when I reprinted this, and this did not happen the first time, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but there's these weird lines in it. I don't know. Sometimes printers just are weird. So when I saw that, and everything else was printed at the same time, and it looks fine. So I reprinted it and changed it to best quality or better quality. I can't remember exactly what it says. And that looks much better. So I do not know why that happened, but that's just something to keep in mind. If your printer is being a little bit weird, you can try different settings. I do have the Epson Eco Tank. I just recently purchased when I started doing this a lot more, and I do enjoy not having to spend so much money on ink. But I have noticed that sometimes it doesn't print very vibrant. You might have to play with the settings a little bit. Okay, so I creased it just a little bit to make sure it was even, and now I'm going to use the bone folder and this line to give it a nice crease and burnish it down a little bit. All right, and now is my background. So the first pocket I'm going to put together, I think, is going to be these crates, because they are, I think, the most confusing. So you cut it out like this, and then these are the glue tabs. So I'm going to score. Before I had this, I used just a ruler and a bone folder, and you just line it up, just get you a straight edge of some kind and crease it. It makes it much gives you a much cleaner fold than just doing it by hand. Okay, so I've got my glue tabs crease or scored, and then I'm going to score right here where these two crate images come together. So that you fold right there. And fold these glue tabs in. So now this doesn't go directly to the paper like a lot of other folders or pockets do. So what you're going to be doing is folding it together like this so that it looks similar on the front and the back. And some people, you know, like I can visualize some people not gluing it all the way down and maybe attaching it with some washi tape or something so that you can flip it out. There's so many different things that you can do. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these together. Oh, and I forgot to. And this glue that I've been using is this Barely Art Precision Craft Glue, and it is pretty good. So just gonna put some glue there and there. And then glue that together like so. And now this is a little top loading pocket. And so now that I've folded it, I'm also going to ink the edges. For this project, I used the Vintage Photo color. And so I'm gonna just ink these edges a little bit. If you're not already inking your edges, it helps to hide a lot of mistakes. If you can't cut perfectly, like I would hope everybody struggles with that. And these little legs on the bottom of the crate, like if you don't like that, you could always just cut those off. Okay, so that pocket is ready. So now I'm going to do the same thing with these other crates. Okay, so now we've got our 3 little crates, and this one has a top load. This little one top loads, and this one, I've got it this way, is a side load. Okay. So that's the difference. And the reason I did that is because I've got, I didn't cut out another one, this little sign here. And the way I intended for them to be is the side load pocket at the bottom, and want this bigger top load pocket above it. That way you could put that little sign right there. You could even glue some of your critters. You can have, or this little fire that's in the barrel that we'll do later isn't gonna, your things that you put in the pocket aren't gonna block your little sign. So, and then the little pocket at the top. That's the way I intended for it to be. Now you can get creative and do it however you like. So I'll glue it all together once I've got the rest of the pockets put together. So let me finish showing you the other pockets. All right, so now let's get to the dumpster. This is the whole point, was the inspiration for this entire project was the dumpster. And I did leave these little wheels on it at the bottom. If you don't like those, you can just cut them off and do it however you want. Okay, so you score all of your little glue tabs. Oh, look at that, I got some ink on my nail. Fold them down. And I have found that your pockets, it just depends. If you don't burnish down your glue tabs, your pockets are a little roomier, which may be what you want. But if you want them to sit a little flush, more flush on your paper, then you want to burnish down the edges. So let me get that inked really quick. I love these little tools. Back when I was originally just like scrapbooking, like for my family, I don't know if these things existed or if they did, and I just didn't know about it. I don't know, but these little ink blender tools are really nice. Okay, so there's the dumpster. Here's my window. Now this is going to be another side load pocket. So I'm going to score all of my glue tabs on the ends. Let's see, let's do the barrel next. So I've made this to where you can layer them together and have a little bit of a 3D effect to where you can put something inside that barrel and it looks a little bit more three-dimensional. Okay. My glue. You could potentially glue this to where the tabs go on the back. It gives you a little bit smoother on the inside. You might have to trim it off just a little bit to get it to fit in there really nicely. But I just did it like this for myself. And layer that to the back. Flip it over, make sure it's nice and lined up. And there you go. There's your barrel with a little pocket there that you can put something in. And now for the box, this is the same concept. So here's all of our glue tabs for this one. And oh, I missed that one a little bit. There we go. Score. Same thing, I'm just going to put the glue on these glue tabs. You could potentially do it the other way and glue it like this, but you would probably need to trim this piece just a tad so that it fit in there nicely. But I'm going to do it like this. Flip it over, make sure it's nice and lined up. Okay, so there's my little box pocket. And again, now there's like a little bit of a 3D effect for when you slide something in. And I see, I'm gonna add just a little bit of glue. That's where this sort of thing with this precision end is really, really handy, because then you can go into these really tight spots and stick those down if you would like. So now all of my pockets are ready to glue on. And so let me glue down my crates just the way that I showed you. All right, so let's glue these pockets down. So let me close up my ink because I'm done with that for right now. Okay, so here's the side loading large crate, and I'm gonna decide which side I like better. I feel like it makes more sense for it to be this way, so that's the way I'm gonna glue it down. So I'm gonna add a little glue around the edges of this. For a piece like this, you don't need this precision tip, but I am not gonna switch it right now. So I'm gonna center it about in the middle of this side of my page and glue it down. Now I'll take the large top loading crate, and again, make sure I know which side I'm gonna glue down, and that's gonna be this side for me. Add me some glue, and I'm gonna glue that down. And last little pocket, little crate, same thing. On this one, the sides look identical to me, so I'm just gonna pick one and glue it down at the top. Now you could center it or move it to one side or another. I'm gonna make it a little bit off-centered this time. Okay, now over on the right side, and you could swap which side you want to do it. And this pack also comes with a different background papers. There's one that looks more like a concrete wall, so you could choose which one you want to do. So my dumpster, I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on the glue tabs. Let me hold it right here. And then for this, I'm also going to put a little bit of glue on the wheels and on this little trim part right here. So I'm going to center that on this half of the page. Line it up about right there. And stick it down. One of the things I love about this glue, it grabs really, really quickly. For assembling some of these pockets, if I'm concerned about it moving, I'll get little clothespins to hold it together while it dries. So now this window, I intended for it to be put down to where the pocket can be accessed from the right side. But again, you can decide how you want to do that. So, put a little glue here. And I'm just gonna decide where I think a window would be and put that right there. Okay, so now for these pockets, I chose to layer them up like this. You could swap them. You could play around with it a little bit. You could put them on and make a second page. There's lots of things that you could do. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did before when I was testing it out, and I'm just gonna glue. I'm gonna glue my barrel right here to where it looks like it's sitting right in front of this stack of crates. And same thing with my box. Oops. Oh, I can see I missed a little spot right there that I inked that with my ink. So I'm gonna layer that about right here. So that's how the pockets go together, or that's how I intended for the pockets to go together. Now, drunk journalers are so creative, and there are no rules, which is one of the things that makes it really fun. So you can change it up or do whatever you like with it. So now I'm going to go back to my test set and do a little show and tell for you on what else comes with this set. So here's my kit, and I will just pull the pieces out and show you. I've kind of got all my, I glued down my cat, but I haven't glued down, let's see, my moth is glued down, my pigeon is glued down here. I haven't glued this guy down yet. I feel like he makes sense right there. All these little trash pieces I haven't actually glued down. I just kind of tucked them in, but you may want to glue them somewhere. So we'll just go from left to right. So inside this little barrel, here's the sign that I was telling you about, because if this was a pocket, if these pockets were switched and you were putting things in this pocket, then it would hide the sign. That's why I did it the way that I did it. So we've got a little fire journaling piece right here that fits in that barrel. Just some pretty little oval, also printed on test paper, that you could put wherever you want. And the peace of God, which surpasses all your understanding, will guard your hearts and your thoughts in Christ Jesus. If you didn't print it on a piece of scrap paper like I did, you could do a little bit of writing right there. So there's those things. Now to this side pocket, we've got, take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And 1 Peter 5:6-7 here. So we've got these scripture pieces that fit inside there. Again, you could do some journaling on the back. Up to this larger crate, here's what I put in there. Guilt, I'm going to give that to God. Here's another little journaling fire piece. Cute little tag. You could actually put a rivet in there and some ribbon. Nice journaling piece. God, I give you, because we all need to give our burdens to him. Another little oval ephemera with some smoke there. Leaves, because we find all sorts of things in dumpsters. Leaves. In nothing be anxious, but in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. Those two kind of go together. And those also fit, in the barrel. Well, if I can get them there. They fit in the barrel, they fit in the box, they fit in lots of different pockets. So now let's go over to the box. Doubt, fear, our phones, anxiety. Cast your burden on the Lord and he will sustain you. Okay, now for our dumpster pocket. We've got a big fire piece with some space for journaling. Another pretty tag. Don't be afraid, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. Always a good reminder. Oh, there's my little mouse. You could glue him somewhere too. Space to write a prayer. Some sticks that when you walk through the fire, you will not be burned and flame will not scorch you. I trust you with these things. There's some more journaling pieces, a little fussy cut of a tree branch. Don't be afraid, for I'm with you. Things I can't control. Yes, God, please take those from me. For God didn't give us a spirit of fear. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. And all of these pieces, again, if you don't print them on scrap paper like I did, you could write on the back of them. Now for the window pocket, again, there's another little ticket piece and some more verses. When I'm afraid, I will put my trust in you. In God I praise his word. In God I put my trust. I will not be afraid. Psalm 56, 3 through 4. So this is set 1 of this little trio that I'm making. Set 2 is out. I don't have video for it yet. I'm going to be recording that next. It is called Beauty for Ashes. And in that set, we have all of our same little animals, but the fire's gone out and we're starting to rebuild. Things are still not perfect. They're still broken and needing a lot of work, but we're getting there. So that's what the next set is going to be about. The final set is in production. That one is going to be called Made New, because that is what we are in Christ. We are made new. And this is a ongoing process. This constantly remembering that we don't have to do this life alone.